3, 2, 1, lift off! Hey Internet, my name is Abby and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program on wings. We just had our liftoff with a very tall and huge rocket, and you see this thing is very heavy and has a hard time to leave the launch pad, or at least had a hard time to pass the tower. But now we are on our way up to space and we have our first booster separation. I needed to add these two boosters in order to enhance a tiny little bit the power of my rocket. But right now we are now on our way to space and hopefully everything will work out as well as I have planned. And yeah, okay, we do have here 3 Kerbonauts. We do have Tom Kerman, New Frot and Frot Kerman, so we have the Frot brothers, and they are now heading up to space, and by the shape of the rocket you might be able to recognize what I'm doing, because this is my way of celebrating the 45th anniversary of Apollo 11, and we are on the way to the moon, because we want to do a moon landing the same way as Apollo 11 did. And in this case here, we are leaving Kerbal Space Center on some kind of Saturn V rocket. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to add a 5th engine down below to the engine compartment, so it's basically a Saturn IV rocket. But nevertheless, this thing is hopefully working well, and we are heading up into space. And here, as I said, we want to celebrate Apollo 11, because now our about today, it's a little bit hard to say this with the time zones and so on. So, but about today, we had the first EVA on the surface of Moon, and we had the very first landing on the Moon by some astronauts, and this is pretty special. And this is now 45 years ago. And yeah, this is basically recent history, and yeah, this is just amazing. The first moon landing was one of the greatest achievements in the last century, and so in this case, yeah, this is really worthy to celebrate this and to think about this, because well, this was just amazing. And when you think about, okay, you are the very first astronauts who are leaving Earth, and your goal is to land on a different celestial body, and no one else has been before there, so no one has any idea how everything might work out, and if it's good, and even the risk. I mean, when you think about just here in Kerbal Space Program, when your lander tips over or something like this, then you're in severe trouble. And in this case, it's not a game; it's your real life. And so, in this case, let me at first do the launch escape system jettison, like this goodbye system. And yeah, this must have been really crazy, and especially because, well, during the landing they had on the one hand some issues with the computer, because the computer signalized an unknown error. No one knew what this error is all about, the error code. And yeah, they proceeded on, and then during the landing Neil Armstrong had to take manual control over the lander, because they were about to overshoot over the target, or the target wasn't good enough for landing. And now we have separation of the first stage, and we can throttle down a bit and continue our burn. Very nice. So yeah, in this case, this is really special, or was pretty special. And then yeah, the very first walk on the moon. I mean, they sent up some probes and so on, but on the other hand, they had to go after they returned back to Earth into quarantine, because they weren't sure if there are not any bad things, like some bacteria or some viruses or anything else, which could be quite unhealthy for mankind and might have caused an epidemic. So in this case, they even had to be sure that they are not bringing back anything bad from the moon. And yeah, when you think about this, okay, you're the very first person who does this, and yeah, you're not sure if you will ever return, and if you return, then if you then will stay alive, or if you have, or if you got infected by something or anything like this. So this was really a great expedition and really a great achievement, and this is just amazing. And well, of course, I wasn't alive at the time as they did the landing, so for me everything is just uh, well, old pictures or old videos and so on. I can watch on YouTube, I can read about on Wikipedia and other sources. So in this case, this is really special. And well, then you start to think about, wow, this is a great achievement. And then you also start to think about, okay, the computer they used in their capsule, in their command module, was compared to our daily life or our computers today completely slow and had no memory at all and so on. So basically I can use here my very own computer, which is completely small and different to the computer being used back in the days, and I would have no issues to control the thing. Well, of course I need to program the right software and so on, but from the power, this is completely crazy when you think about what basic technology they have used back in the days, and they were still they were able to land on the moon, and they did everything. And so this is so special, and this is such a great achievement that I really want to celebrate this by doing what I'm doing right now. And yeah, we are clear to enter an orbit around Kerbon. So let us enter an orbit around Kerbon, so that we then can start planning our translunar injections, so that we are starting to fly up to the moon where we want to land. And yeah, this is very special. Okay, I'm doing now the burn, and this time I like to keep my upper launch stage, because I need this as well for my burn to the moon, because yeah, when I want to fly up to the moon, I need this engine. And now let's cut the engine. We have an orbit by 117 by 93. Well, it's a little bit a wonky orbit. We can circularize it, but oh, we just missed our opportunity to launch for the moon, so we need to do one orbit. But we can at least start to, maybe it's maybe around at the position where I am currently. So let me see. Okay, over here. Oh, what is this? Let me do this again. Here, perfect, because no, this is the wrong direction. I want to bring this thing. No, can't I get the thing up? Apparently not. Maybe before we do this, I can... Oh no, I will do the correction later on during my flight up to the moon. So in this case, let me do this again. I can do the correction for less delta V during my flight up to the moon. So let me see. Okay, here. So we do have a collision. This is what I want, because once we finish the burn, the upper stage of my launch rocket will be empty and will be discarded. So we need to get rid of the space debris, and the best way is to just let it impact on the moon while we arrive there. Okay. So Einfrod and Newfrod, the Frod brothers, will be then jumping into the lunar lander, and I haven't demonstrated you the lander. You will be hopefully surprised when I reveal the lander, because the thing is just amazing, hopefully. And yeah, okay, now I'm aiming for the maneuver node, and in order to speed things up, I can do now a short time warp, because we do not want to have an episode of Kerbal Space Program on Wings with only 29 minutes of me waiting for a complete orbit around Kerbon in order to do then the burn. In this case, yeah, let me do... Oh, and I remember one important thing. Well, we do have enough electric charge, but I want to extend my solar panels in order to make sure that I will recharge my batteries and that I'm not running out of electric charge. Well, of course, we are now coming to the nighttime side, but it's important for me that I'm not forgetting this. And okay, let's start continuing our time warp. Now we are unfortunately in the darkness, and yeah, we need to do our one-way complete around Kerbon before we can start doing our burn. 6 minutes, 5 minutes, we have sunrise. Okay, let's slow down a bit. 2 minutes. Okay, maybe we can speed up just a tiny bit. 1 minute, okay. And now we need to align ourselves again a little bit with the maneuver node before we start doing our burn. Are we still good to go? Yes, we still have our encounter with the moon. Very nice. Okay, let's start doing the burn. Well, we are a little bit early, but I think this is alright when we are doing it right now. Okay, we are now doing our burn to fly up to the moon. And we are almost coming across Kerbal Space Center as we do this, because Kerbal Space Center is down there. There is the islands with the short landing strip, and here, down there somewhere, should be Kerbal Space Center. And there's a moon. We have the moonrise, and Enfrod is happy about this. He is really looking forward to his celebration landing of the 45th anniversary of Apollo 11, and this is just great. This is just great. Okay, let me continue our burn. We are almost done with this. Only a few meters of delta V to go, and let's cut here at first the engines. What have we done? We have our encounter, but as I said, I like to have an impact, like here. Very good, very good. Now we are impacting the moon currently, and yes, we are now on our way up to the moon. Perfect, perfect, just perfect. And yeah, I've well calculated the amount of fuel needed, because now the launch stage is about to be empty, and this is just great. But okay, now we need to what is this? I hope this is the right position. Let me check this. Yes, it is. Okay, let me enable RCS, let me switch over to docking, and let me drift away. And you can see down there is the lander hidden under or inside a payload bay from our Saturn rocket. So this is just amazing. This is really great. I thought I switched over to docking. So now let me kill all of our relative velocity. And now the next goal is we need to align ourselves with the Apollo lander, because we do want to capture it. Okay, now we are hopefully aligned with the docking port of the lander. Let me enable RCS, and now we need to approach this, and we are doing this directly, well, not directly, but close to Kerbal Space Center. This is just great. And here, now we are doing it like the Apollo way. We had our capsule on top of our rocket, and yeah, we have stored our lander inside some kind of payload bay, as the lander was stored during the Apollo mission, and now we need to remove it. Well, of course, during the Apollo mission they removed also some kind of the fairing, but yeah, this wasn't so practicable in Kerbal Space Program, so we need to keep this here. But still, the idea is the same. And I'm really proud of this, and I'm really looking forward, and I'm really hoping that this thing is working well, so that we can dock to our Apollo lander. Okay, only a few meters. This was one of the most critical, or this is one of the critical steps during the Apollo mission, because, well, of course, if there's an issue, if there's maybe if they can't make sure that the hatches and that the docking ports are well aligned, and that they closed, and that they are sealed, then the landing would be in danger, and they wouldn't be able to do the landing or something like this. So in this case, this was very important. And we have docked to our what is this? This is this, okay. And we have docked to our lander. Now the next thing is, I hope the thing starts to wobble around. We need now to get it loose and to drift away And we are now getting our lander out. Look at this, look at this. Look at this beautiful view. We have extracted our lander. This is just great. Look at this, look at this. We extracted our lander. We are now drifting away from our launch stage. And this is just amazing. This is so great. I'm really happy about this. And now the last thing we need to do in order to finish our launch and deployment process is because to make sure that everything is looking in a good shape, I needed to add this the special part down here, this the segment, and now we need to get rid of it. So let me do this, and ka-ching! Okay, we got rid of this segment, and now we have fully constructed our Apollo mission. This is our command module. This is our command module. We have our service module, and we have the lander, and this is just great. This is really amazing. And here now we are on our way up to the moon. But I need to check at first something, because I need to make sure I think we are currently still on our way, and we are all on the same way, so I hope that the probes, or because they have added some kind of probe body, so that in the case of that they are not hitting the moon, I can control them. But right now we need to correct a little bit our trajectory, because we do not want to crash into the moon. We want to fly around the moon. Well, and I'm not doing it the right way, because normally I would have needed to launch myself on a free return trajectory, as I did in Apollo 1. But yeah, in case of making things a little bit easier, I just said or decided, okay, I will do it a little bit simpler, and I will do a direct flight up to the moon in order to do my things up there. Okay, let me, before I'm wasting this fuel, let me disable this fuel tank, because this is only reserved for the lander and for the landing purposes. And okay, we are 1 minute 32 seconds out. Let me just do a tiny time warp, and the delta V needed for changing our trajectory is really small, so I can do this with some RCS. You can see this is very precise as I'm doing my short change. I hope I'm not running into the debris. This would be embarrassing now. Okay, very good. And here we now have a moon periapsis of 12 kilometers, and I hope we are not hitting this debris, the Apollo probe, or one of the Apollo probes. And I hope they are still then falling back to Kerbon. Not to Kerbon, but they are impacting the moon. Okay, very nice, very nice. So our next step is, we do not need to do any corrections burns. We have finished our correction burns. Well, oh yes, we can do a correction burn. At the ascending node, we can do just a tiny correction. So 0.3, 0.1, and then we would have no periapsis would be then impact the moon again. Yeah, then we would impact the moon again, right? No, we wouldn't. Okay, then I need to, I think, slow down a bit, right? 20 kilometers. Well, let's do it with 20 kilometers. So we do have a correction burn coming up in 1 hour and 38 minutes. This is cool. This is really cool. Let me do this. Let me speed up. There goes the debris of our mission, of our launch, and this is our goal. This is our target. Okay, let me speed things up a little bit, because we want to wait for our maneuver node, but I do not want to overshoot, so let's slow down a bit, and I should disable RCS as I see this, or better, before I'm doing before I start turning my spacecraft around. Okay, where is the maneuver node? I think it's on the opposite side. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Very good, very good, very good. Stop, and turn it back. Very nice, very nice. And now I think I will do this again with RCS. So, RCS power. Yeah. Very nice. Enfrod and Newfrod are a little bit scared. Tom is, well, not quite happy, but I think he seems to be okay with the current situation. This is good. And burn is finished. Let's disable RCS. We do have enough fuel, and we have immune periapsis of... What is this? Oh, this is our asteroid. Of 20 kilometers. Very nice, very nice. So our next goal is coming up in 2 hours and 49 minutes. And then we will have the sphere of influence change, so that we are then in the sphere and in the grab of the moon, and we are then controlled by moon's gravity. Okay, how long do we need to go? 11 minutes, 11 minutes. Okay, let me get closer to this. And 1 minute. Okay, we should have our... Oh, let me just check out. This is the commander seat. We want to switch over, and they can see a little bit the lander out of their window. And when they are looking to the right, they can see even their target. They can see the moon. There they want to go. This is great. This is really cool. And here, unfortunately, we have a malfunction with our orbital velocity. And what are you doing? He's a little bit scared. Okay, let me get out of here. Okay, we have now changed our sphere of influence, and when we are looking at our orbital map, we can see that our both probes, which are the rests and the debris of our Apollo lander or our Apollo launcher, are still impacting the moon, and this is all I wanted. This is just great. Okay, now the next goal is we want not fly by the moon and leave the moon and later on even escape Kerbin. No, we want to enter an orbit. So in this case we need to slow down, and come on, let me do this. 13 by 21. I like to lower it to maybe still 13, 10. Yeah, 10, 11. This is good. This is good. This is exactly what I want. Okay, very good, very good. We do have our goal. We do have our maneuver. And now we can approach this maneuver. So let me speed things up. And 50 minutes, 30 minutes. I am still in danger of overshooting. And yeah, this is precarious because I do not want to overshoot, because overshooting is bad. And we are getting closer to the moon. Okay, and 1 minute to go. Only a few seconds as we are flying across the landscape. Okay, very good. Now it's about to do the burn. This is the very first time that we are using our main engine from the service module. So now, full throttle. Let's slow down. We have overshot just a little bit. So I need to be careful when I'm looking at the remaining delta V, because I have overshot a little bit and I do not want to end in okay, our two debris have disappeared. They have impacted the moon. This is great. Okay, and I need to make sure that, okay, this is exactly what I meant, that I'm not lowering my periapsis too far. In this case, let me just set a marker for the apoapsis, and then I think, okay, at first I wanted to land here on this crater, but I'm not quite sure. We need then to do a change, but I'm not quite sure if we do have enough light to land there. But I really wish to do it. So let's see. I like to land there, but at first we need to change a little bit our trajectory so that we increase or raise a little bit our periapsis. And okay, like here, let's turn the spacecraft around. And very nice, very nice. Okay, okay, and I want to raise the periapsis just a tiny bit. Let me do a tiny burn, so maybe up to 11 kilometers up over here. Very nice, very nice. Okay, and the next thing is, how do I do this at best? I want to land here, and I want that my trajectory is all the time going over this crater. Well, it is almost going over the crater, but I like to just do a tiny change. No, the other way. Like here, yeah, like this. Then I'm coming directly across the crater, and then I like to circularize my orbit, so I need also to slow down a bit. 12 by 10, and we would come directly across the crater over here. This is good. So then we do have it much easier when we want to do our liftoff after our moon landing. Okay. So, just a tiny correction burn. Let me now prepare for this. Okay, we are aiming at the maneuver node, so now we can do our approach to the maneuver node. We can do a short fast forward. Only 12 minutes. And all my Kerbonauts are happy. They are proud to be part of the Apollo 11 celebration of the 45th anniversary of the very first moon landing. This is just amazing that they are also happy. And we do had our Kerbal rise, and I overshot again. So now let's do our burn, our correction burn, and stop. Very good, very good. So what have we done? We have periapsis of 10 kilometer and apoapsis of 11 kilometer, or about 12 kilometers, and we are directly coming across the crater where I like to land. Yeah, I think in order to don't be too fast and make a mistake, I think we will do a complete orbit before we do our landing attempt. So at first we can do a short flyby over the crater. In this case, wait, I want to see if we can see something from above when we are coming up across our target area. So let me place a maneuver node there at the right position, and okay, we should be now directly over a crater. So in this case, yeah, we can see a little bit some elevations by the sunlight, but it's really hard to see something down there. But I think we are still good to do our landing there. It will be a little bit shadowy, but I haven't been to this crater, and so I like to land there. Okay, we now have sunlight. Now the next thing is we need to make our lander ready. We need to prepare our lander. Though in this case, I do not want to risk the solar panel, so let me just retract it. Unfortunately, we can't transfer our crew directly through the docking port, so we need to do it via an EVA. In this case, Newfrot is more smiling, so Newfrot, you will be the pilot. And now, let us float over to your lander. Oh, no, I'm floated past it. Okay, now the approach is much better. And grab. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, maybe we should just extend the ladder in order to get things better. Can I extend ladder to make things more easy for us? Grab. Okay, and board. Okay, Newfrot is sitting inside the lander. Now Enfrot, it's your turn. Switch on your lights and let go, and switch on your EVA suit. Look at the beautiful view back on Kerbal. This is just amazing. Okay, now let's approach your lander. You will use to return and grab. Okay, with a ladder it's much better. And board. Okay, the two crew members are now preparing their lander. They can now... No. They can... Where do we have it? They can retract the ladder. Very nice. Okay, and we can extend again our solar panels. Okay. Enfrod and Newfrod are a little bit scared, but they don't need to be. Okay, where do I want? I think around here in the nighttime side we need to prepare our landing, so in 30 minutes. Okay. In 30 minutes we can prepare our landing. In this case, let us... Whoa, this was fast. Let us speed up a little bit. And here, Apollo 11, well, this... the first pictures I saw were from, I don't know what this was, 16mm film, 8mm film, so with a projector and so on. My father showed me, and yeah, this was, well, at this age, as I saw the very first pictures of it, I had no idea what this is all about. Well, I was sure, I was aware, okay, there's a moon, but I haven't thought really about what the difficulties of landing on the moons are and so on. So in this case, yeah, this were my very first experiences concerning a moon landing, or the Apollo moon landing, but later on I got more and more information and more knowledge, and this is really impressive, and yeah, I'm just amazed by this. Okay, now my crew has prepared the lander, and now they can drift away from the command module, and they can start their engine, and they can enable the fuel tank. Okay, and now we need to make sure, maybe in 1 minute, to prepare our descent. So in this case we will fly past the crater, so we will be already... Let me see, I don't want to be too low that I'm crashing into the crater rim. Yeah, like this, this is good. So I'm coming then directly across the crater, but much lower, in a much lower altitude. So let us aim for the retrograde vector and for the marker. And with a beautiful view back to Kerbon, we are now preparing our landing of Newfrod and Enfrod, who will be replaying the first lunar landing. Let me already make sure that our landing gear is working. Yes, landing gear is working. We do have extended it. Very good. And only 14 seconds to go until we do our deorbit burn. Enfrod is a little bit scared. Newfrod is happy and is prepared to push the button. And now let us do our burn so that we can start our descent process. And stop. Okay, very good, very good. Okay. Now we are coming across, and in about 6 minutes we will reach the right position where we can start to do our landing and prepare our landing and do our orbital or kill maneuver for the orbital velocity we still do have. And we have sunrise. We have sunrise. Only a few seconds to go. And okay, here we are. Here we are. We are now arriving at the crater, and we now need to make sure that we can slow down. Currently this is looking really precarious, our landing area. Let me have a quick check. But yeah, we are definitely in the crater, or over the crater. So okay, let's do this. Let's kill all of our orbital velocity. And then we need to see where we're coming down. And yeah, the sun is now really helping. This was also one requirement for the Apollo 11 first moon landing, that the sun has to shine in a certain angle towards the surface, because this makes it much easier to discover some rocks and some elevations and so on. As you can see here, it's much easier to see craters from the distance than is as if when we are just having direct sunlight from directly above. Okay, we are still slowing down, and this could be a nice landing area. This would be amazing if we manage to slow down before we overshoot. Okay, and are we able to land there, or are we overshooting? I don't know right now. Maybe it's looking good, it's looking good. I like to land a little bit in the sunshine, so that I still have some light left. This would be amazing, and we do have our landing lights, so let me just enable the landing light, as I'm still slowing my spacecraft down. And let's bring the retrograde vector again directly on top of the nav ball, so that we are descending in a straight line directly to the surface. And okay, we are landing in the shadow of the crater rim, maybe. It's hard to say currently. So we do have an altitude of 2 kilometers. Do we have something here? Yeah, our radar altitude says that we are only 1 kilometer above the surface, and we are now going down. I have my landing lights enabled. Yes, the lights are working. Now let's slow us down. Okay, very good. No. Now we came to a hover. This is always dangerous when you come to a hover, because then it's easy to start drifting to one side, and this can be precarious, and your lander can start to flip over, but I don't want to do this. I want to have a gently landing after I picked this landing position. Okay, very gently, very gently. And careful, careful. And the Eagle has landed. The Eagle has landed. We are on the surface of the moon. We did it. We managed to land our lander on the surface of the moon. This is just amazing. Unfortunately, the sun is hiding behind the crater rim. We can't see the sun right now, but our lander is still already illuminated. This is amazing. Okay, let's extend our lander. But at first, we need to do our crew report, or better, the Eagle has landed. You record the crew's assessment of the situation, and yeah, the Eagle has landed. Let's extend our antenna and transmit the data back home. Okay, they are now aware that we are where we want to be. Let's have a view out of the capsule. Okay, this is just amazing. Okay, now one of the interesting things is, how do you sleep on the surface of the moon? I mean, you have some kind of gravity, but you haven't the strong gravity as on the surface of Earth. But on the other hand, you are not floating around like during the translunar coast as you're transitioning to the moon, and or during the orbit around the moon when you're in your capsule. But now you have some gravity, and I do not know how much space is in the lander, or better on the surface of the lander, because you're not floating anymore, and in this case you have to somehow sleep on the surface of your lander or something like this. So I don't know, I should research this. How do you sleep in your lunar lander on the surface of the moon? I think this is also quite a challenge. Okay, but now, apart from how do you sleep, we want to log our temperature, collected and recorded temperature data from the environment, from Moon's northwest crater. Okay, let's keep the data, and let's do the same thing for the log seismic data. From Moon's northwest crater, the sensor has detected a minor quake in the surface. Okay, keep it. And our gravity scan. The sensor conducts a detailed survey of the local gravity. Very nice, very nice. Okay, Enfrod, because not the lander module pilot, but the commander. Well, Enfrod is not directly the commander, but he will be the first one who will land on the moon, or who will play the significant role. Okay, we had this already, but in this case of the Apollo 1, let's do this again. One small step for a man and a giant leap for mankind, and well done. Well done. Good recovery, Enfrod. You did an amazing job. You are now on the surface of the moon. You can walk here around. And yes, one thing which is pretty crazy, or which is, I don't know, They landed for the very first time on the moon, but the overall EVA time was something about 2 hours and 30 minutes, so this was just a very short time being on the surface of the moon and walking around there. So yeah, okay. Surface sample from Moon's northwest crater. The ground materials appear to be a combination of basaltic rocks and breccia. Very good. Let's keep the data and your EVA report. The dust is getting everywhere. Very good. Keep the data. And now it's time for new fraud. Let's do your EVA. In the celebration of the Apollo 11 lunar landing, okay, the second astronaut is on the surface of the moon, and yeah, we managed it, we are here, and now we can, as usual, plant the flag. Very good, very good. 45 year, oh well, Apollo 11 lunar landing 45, and this gets quite lengthy. Let's keep it an Apollo 11 lunar landing. Very good, very good, very good. In celebration of the 45th year after, well, or the 45th year anniversary. Let's do it right. 45th anniversary of Apollo 11. Okay, and that's at the point here. Very good, very good. Okay, we managed it. Let me now do a nice group picture in front of our flag. No, this was the lander. No, this was not the lander. This is the right person. Oh, I switched to the flag. I see. Okay, I just switched to the flag. Okay, okay. And here, we did it. We are now on the surface of the moon, and yeah, just great. And this is a great celebration. Very good. Okay, and the next step is we not only read flag. Okay, what do I want? I want to, oh yeah, I was talking about this. We want to return back to space because we need to rendezvous with our command module and we want to fly back home. Okay, at first, let's grab it, and you are now responsible to take the data and recover the data. Take the data from the thermometer and from the gravioli detector and board. Okay. Newfrot is already inside his capsule. Now it's time for Enfrot to enter the capsule again and to store his insights. And grab. Unfortunately, or well, my design is also not completely accurate because I do not leave the landing gear down on the surface. I will bring the thing back to space, and yeah, so in this case it's also not completely accurate like with the fairing of the lander, but yeah, we do have to do at some point some issues or some what do I wanted to say? I'm getting currently so much stuck because I'm so glad about my moon landing and I'm so happy that everything pans out so well. And okay, now let's wait for our command module to arrive again here, because then we want to rendezvous again with it. Okay. Here it comes, and I think over here could be a good position. Let's set it as a target. Very good, very good. And now it's time to leave the moon again, so let us, no, not the fuel tank, but retract the ladder, enable SAS, and come on ladder, get in there. Very good. Okay, and in 3, 2, 1, and ignition. Okay, and let's start to climb up. And as I was already talking about this in the beginning, the landing, the very first moon landing, was also quite risky, and also minor issues could have caused severe trouble. Okay, we did our takeoff a little bit too late, so let me watch over this in the orbital map to see if we are doing a great job. Okay, like here. So we are now ascending. This is very good. And yeah, only a minor mistake, and they could have been stuck on the moon, and they wouldn't be able to return back to space. And yeah, during the Apollo 11 landing, at some point they break off some kind of knob to enable or to remove the safety of the engine, I guess it was. And so yeah, this was quite dangerous, because if they wouldn't have been able to switch the knob or switch the switch, then they would have maybe got stuck there and would have never been able to return up to space. And this was also a quite risky situation, but they managed it, because they had a pencil they used to switch the switch. And yeah, this was great. But when you think about you're suddenly in your capsule, and then you discover, oh no, we broke the switch, we are now not able to return anymore. And yeah, I think this is really a bad situation when you realize, okay, there is something missing, we do have a problem. And yeah, luckily they were able to fix this, and they had a great return flight. But yeah, this is one of the things I was talking about. I mean, they could have even other issues, like, I don't know, maybe some problem with the hatch or something like this, and they wouldn't be able to enter, or they would have had a leak with their spacesuit, or they would have had a leak with their lander or anything like this. And okay, the command module flew a little bit past us. We now need to catch up to this, but at first we need to match our speed. So let me do this at first. Okay, we are now about in the same orbit, and what do we need to do? Over there it's a little bit ahead of us. There we are getting quite close to it. But I like to speed things up, because I would prefer to do the rendezvous in the daylight side again, because this is much more spectacular. Okay, I can switch out my landing light. I do not need it anymore. Okay, let's speed up a little bit more. And we have our in 3 minutes, and this would be in the daylight. This is amazing. This is just great. Okay, let's add here a marker. And okay, Enfrod and Newfrod are happy after their successful landing on the moon in the Apollo style. This is just great. Okay, now we are approaching. We are approaching our command module again. Okay, very good, very good. We are already quite close, and now we need to align our trajectory a little bit better, and we need to slow down, that it's not us who is flying by. Okay, we have an approach velocity of 4 meters per second. I think this is good enough, because we can do a little bit of a time warp to get closer to our command module. Only 300 meters, 200, 100, okay, 80 meters. Let's start to slow down. Okay, there is the docking port. Let me set this as a target. And okay, let's kill almost all of our relative velocity with our main engine. Very good, very good. Now let's switch over to docking, and we need to... Oh, I have already enabled RCS. This was not the best decision I had so far. Okay, we need at first to approach a little bit and get closer to our lander while we are still in orbit around the moon. Okay, Enfrod and Newfrod are currently a little bit scared as they are preparing the rendezvous maneuver with the Apollo capsule, and then the next thing, which is also not completely accurate compared to Apollo 11, after I dock to it, I will bring back my lander to Kerbon, and I will let it disintegrate in Kerbon's atmosphere, because in the Apollo missions they just discarded the lander in lunar orbit and the thing fell down to the surface. But because we do not have a wonky gravitational field, and well, I could have added some separatrons to let the thing slow down a little bit so that it crashes, or I could have added a probe body to it, but I wanted to save some weight. In this case, I will bring the thing back home and let it disintegrate in Kerbon's atmosphere. But basically, it's about the same idea as as letting it crash on the... Why is this thing turning? Is there SAS disabled? This is strange. Why are you turning? Okay, let's turn it back straight up. This was strange. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, here we are approaching our command module. Very good, very good. Let's slow down a little bit. And the most important moment. Yeah, we do have contact, and we are docked again. We are docked again. Now, in order to make sure that we are not breaking our solar panels, and at first I want to shut down this engine. Very good. Then I want to control from here to make sure everything is working well. Okay, Enfrod. Enfrod is the first who will leave the lander again and is floating over here to grab. Very good. And board. Okay, and now Newfrod, EVA, you can take all the data we have gathered so far, and you can let go, and you can also fly back down and return to your crew, to your command module. Let's climb the ladder up and board. Well done. Okay, let's extend again our solar panels. Very good, very good. Okay. So, we managed. Our crew is complete again. Have I... This looks interesting when you see the surface passing by so fast. This is cool. This is a great view. I like this. I like this. Especially this view. This view is great when you really see the velocity of your spacecraft, and as the surface is passing by. This is amazing. This is cool. Okay, let's leave this, and okay, next thing is, as I said, we need to return back home. So let me prepare our return flight and speed up, and we want to go for a direct approach. Let me just make sure that I'm doing it at the right position. 344, this was too much. 8,000, 40,000, 26, this is good. 26,000 or 26 kilometers is a good position. Very nice. Let's look for our maneuver node over here, and the burn is coming up in 23 minutes before we can then end our Apollo mission. Okay, very good. Now let's do another time warp as the surface underneath us is passing by, and as we are getting closer to our maneuver node. Okay, everyone is smiling because they are now sure that they are returning back home. And when you compare the duration of the Apollo 11 mission, it was about 11, no not 11, about 8 days, or a little longer than 8 days they were in space and on their way. And now the long duration missions on the ISS are about 180 days. So this is really a long time compared to the very old and good old Apollo 11, as they were only 8 days, 3 hours, 18 minutes in their mission. And yeah, this is a huge difference. And so I think they never got really so used to the gravity, so that it was a little bit strange to them. And they even had, I think they haven't had to face the loss of muscles and so on, like they have to face now, and they have to fight against now with exercises and training and so on. Okay, we are coming down in 23 kilometers. This is good. Okay, our next goal on our way back home is the moment that we are leaving the sphere of influence of the moon. In this case, let us follow this important moment of our space flight. Let's say goodbye to the moon. I think this marker down there, let me check this before I continue with this. This marker down there, yeah, this was our Apollo 11 lunar landing. So we even had a view back. Down there we landed. There was our Apollo landing. We just celebrated. And now we are aiming back home. Okay, let's speed things up as we are waiting for the sphere of influence change. Okay, let me just check this. Okay, we do not have any indication anymore. I think the sphere of influence change should be imminent, and then we are on our way back home to Kerbon after we have left the moon. There is our crater we just landed. Okay, we are now on our way back home. And here, now let's look at Kerbon, our home planet we want to return to. And as we are getting closer, we then need to check, because I like to do a splashdown as done with Apollo 11. But yeah, I can't say this right now. We need to see where we are then coming down. Okay, maybe now is a good position to have a look. Where would we come down? We would probably come down to a splashdown. This is just amazing. This is perfect. This is so perfect. Everything is working so well. This is just great. Okay. In this case, we can now speed things up a bit. Okay. Beautiful sunshine. Beautiful view on Kerbon. Okay, we are now only 100 kilometers away. So in this case, it's time to move a little bit this direction, so that we can on the one hand say goodbye to our service module. We do not need it anymore, and we then can also say undock, because we even do not need anymore our lander. Okay, we are now prepared for our re-entry. And Androd, Tom and Newfrod are happy about this, as we are returning. Okay. And will we have a splashdown? Yeah, I hope so. I hope so that this will end in a splashdown. Let's speed things up. There goes our service module. There goes the lander. And we should have our re-entry effects as we are returning back home from the moon. And yes, there are the re-entry effects. Even the lander and the service module. Will we see that the solar panels, the solar arrays are falling off? Now it's called debris. I don't think so. I think it has stopped to take the re-entry effects into account. So I think the solar panels aren't falling off. But yeah, we are now returning. Can we have an... Oh, look at this. Whoa, whoa. This is a hot view. This is... Whoa, whoa. This is a great view. Wow. This is hot. Okay, we are now losing our velocity. We are getting pressed into our seats as we are returning back from the moon with high velocity. And here, there are still our Apollo lander and our service module flying ahead of us, but they will at some point also fall down and get disintegrated, because they do not have a parachute to slow down their final descent as we do have. And okay, yeah, we will have definitely a splashdown. This is great. This is so great that everything pans out so well. I'm really happy. I'm so happy. And here, the whole episode is just dedicated to the whole Apollo program, to everyone involved, and yeah, for the great achievement they've done so far. And this is so amazing what they did, and I hope in the near future we will be able also to, well, they are now planning to do a flight up to an asteroid, to investigate an asteroid, but also that we are able to maybe return back to the moon, or even better, to manage to get to Mars. This would be so great if we would be able to arrive at Mars at some point. And so in this case, this episode is not only dedicated to the brave Apollo 1 crew, but it's also dedicated to all the upcoming missions, and yeah, to all the scientists, to all the engineers working in all the spaceflight, because this is so great, this is so important. So yeah, this is just great, and I'm really happy. Okay, and now it's time to deploy our chutes. One of the last important things of our return mission from the moon. And what is over there? Apollo debris. So I think this is our service module. Okay, and we are falling down. We are slowing down with our parachutes. And the chutes have fully deployed, and our debris is gone. Very good. We have some coastline in sight. And now we can speed up a little bit as we are approaching the surface and our splashdown. Okay, let's have an interior view as we are coming down. And splashdown. Whoa, this is a strange view. Apparently we are underwater. Okay, now the spacecraft is turning around. No? Okay, let's have an exterior view. Okay, yes, we are back. We are back. We managed to return. Okay, now the spacecraft is turning around. Very good, very good. Great job, Enfrod, Tom, and Newfrod. Okay, and yeah, the last important thing is to recover our vessel and to bring our crew to some kind of quarantine. But yeah, let's do this. Okay, the crew was recovered and the crew is back, and they brought back also some insights from the moon in their Apollo 11 configuration. So we have our seismic scan for 80 signs, we have our temperature scan for 32 signs, we have our gravity scan for 80 signs, we do have our surface sample, our moon rocks, the most important thing we can bring back home from a celestial body. We have our EVA report for 32 signs, and well, we have a return vessel from orbit around the moon. Okay, this is because, well, the lander was disintegrated. But yeah, so we have brought back some signs, and 344 signs for this mission. Not bad, not bad. And with this, I'd like to thank you for your patience and for your endurance to watch through this whole and very long episode. But I really wanted to create something significant for the Apollo 45 years anniversary, because, well, this is really great, and this was such a great achievement. And yeah, I just hope that in the near future we will have other great achievements in spaceflight, and in this case, yeah, I pretty much like to celebrate this, to to increase the awareness. And yeah, in this case, thank you so much for watching again. I hope you liked the Apollo mission, and I hope you will be joining me in the next episode when we continue with our interplanetary and missions and our normal missions in our space program. In this case, thank you again for your attention, and thank you again for being a viewer, and I hope I will see you again in the next episode. Until then, my name is Abby. See you!